invited to the colony of Virginia in 1712 to teach his methods to slave owners there. The term lynching is derived from his name. Greetings. Gentlemen, I greet you here on the bank of the James River in the year of our Lord 1712. First, I should thank you, the gentlemen of the colony of Virginia, for bringing me here. I am here to help you solve some of your problems with slaves. Your invitation reached me on my modest plantation in the West Indies, where I have experimented with some of the newest and still have the oldest methods for control of slaves. Ancient Rome would envy us if my program is implemented. As our boat sailed south on the James River, named for our illustrious king, whose version of the Bible we cherish, I saw enough to know that your problem is not unique.
Okay, so why am I playing that for you? Why did I start this off like that? First off, let me say welcome to another edition of Truth Seekers. I wanted to start this edition off something different. I want to send a message out to my young people. I want to send a message out to all my people who are contributing to the destruction and the corruption of the black community. Why? Because I need to get you to see that the way you are behaving is exactly what they wanted you to do. Exactly what they wanted you to do. These words, these are the words of a man by the name of Willie Lynch. This is a narration from the making of a slave, the Willie Lynch letters. See, if we know where, I always tell you to do your research. Find out the lineage, not lineage, but find out the origin of whatever it is you're looking up. Find out, well, how did it come to be that way? Why is it that way? Who made it that way? Well, this right here, the making of a slave, the Willie Lynch letters, pretty much explains a lot of how we came to be the way we are. Why so many of us do not respect ourselves. Why so many of us take for granted life in itself. Okay? Why so many of us, we have this love for ourselves and our communities and our families. We need to understand that these words right here, although this is not Willie Lynch, this is a narration. These are his words. We need to understand that if we continue to go the way we are going, giving these words power, because right now today they are considering us to be the made up black man and the made up black woman. We are fiction. We are characters. We are something that they made up. The way we are behaving, the way we are moving is exactly what they said we would do. And it's been over 300 years ago. Okay? As you continue to listen, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. That when he said these things, he knew the power of his words. He knew that his method was foolproof. That as long as the people of that day, the people of that era, would do each and everything he instructed them to do, okay, that it would inflict scars on our ancestors so deep that they would pass them down to their babies, and then so forth and then so forth. And today, right now, today, we are doing and exemplifying all of those things. So many of us, because I have to say that not all of us, because so many of us are showing that we are more than these words. But for my brother and my sister, especially my young brothers and my young sisters, I must do my best to get you to see that you are breathing life into these words. These words are old. These words are ancient. These words are relics. But we are continuing to breathe life into them. Just by carrying on the way we are carrying on. Just by moving the way we are moving. So I want you to just listen for a little while. And as it goes on, we'll talk a little bit more about it. And also I want to point out something too. Why did he say in the beginning ancient Rome would envy us? Because that's where it started. Ancient Rome. That's where it started. Catholic. The Catholic Church. The Pope. Okay? They all had a part in this. They all had their hand in that cookie jar. They all had a part in this whole slavery. Okay? As a matter of fact, it was the Pope that gave the okay to go over there and conduct your slave trading business. Yes. Alright? And that king that he was talking about, that ship was named after, was King James. King James, the author of the New Testament. The same version of the Bible so many of you read today. That is who he is speaking of. Take note that this was in 1712. Today is 2016. But listen to what he's saying and then ask yourself, are you behaving this way? Are you doing exactly what this man said you would do? So let's continue to listen.
While Rome used cords of wood as crosses for standing human beings along its highways in great numbers, you are here using the tree and the rope on occasions. I caught the whiff of a dead slave hanging from a tree a couple of miles back. You are not only losing valuable stock by hangings, you are having uprisings. Slaves are running away. Your crops are sometimes left in the fields too long for maximum profit. You suffer occasional fires. Your animals are killed. Gentlemen, you know what your problems are. I do not need to elaborate. I am not here to enumerate your problem. I am here to introduce you to a method of solving them. In my bag here, I have a foolproof method for controlling your black slaves. I guarantee every one of you that if you installed it correctly, it will control the slaves for at least 300 years.
Right there. If you install it correctly, it will control your slaves for at least 300 years. This was in 1712. Today is 2016. How many years is that? From 2012 to from 1712 to 2016. That's slightly over 300 years. So, as you can see, without me even telling you, what he said he would do, he did. What his method was that he said would work for over 300 years, it is.
My method is simple. Any member of your family or your overseer can use it. I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and I take them differences and make them bigger. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes. These methods have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies, and it will work throughout the South. Take this simple little list of differences and think about it. On top of my list is age, but it's there only because it starts with an A. The second is color or shade. There is intelligence, size, sex, sizes of plantations, status on plantations, attitude of owners, whether the slaves live in the valley, on a hill, east, west, north, south, have fine hair, coarse hair, or is tall or short. Now that you have a list of differences, I shall give you an outline of action. But before that, I shall assure you that distrust is stronger than trust, and envy stronger than adulation, respect, or admiration. The black slaves, after receiving this indoctrination, shall carry on and will become self-refueling and self-generating for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. Don't forget, you must pitch the old black male versus the young black male, and the young black male against the old black male. You must use the dark-skinned slaves versus the light-skinned slaves, and the light-skinned slaves versus the dark-skinned slaves. You must use the female versus the male, and the male versus the female. You must also have your white servants and overseers distrust all blacks. But it is necessary that your slaves trust and depend on us. They must love, respect, and trust only us. Gentlemen, these kits are your keys to control. Use them. Have your wives and children use them. Never miss an opportunity. If used intensely for 1 year, the slaves themselves will remain perpetually distrustful. Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, so now, let's break down what we heard right there. Teach them envy, teach them jealousy, teach them fear. Pitch the young against the old, pitch the dark against the light, curly head against kinky head. All of these things, are you now starting to see a pattern? Because this is exactly the way many of us act today. Some over 300 years later, we are still behaving that way. Old against young. The young people have no respect for the elderly anymore. I just see all of these videos popping up on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook of young people beating up older people. Where is the respect? Okay, the young, the dark against the old. I see that. I've been seeing that all my life. You understand what I'm saying? You know, light-skinned people are get more respect than dark-skinned people. The light-skinned girl gets asked to the prom before the dark-skinned girl. You understand what I'm saying? Or the one with the curly hair is considered to have good hair. Oh, you got good hair. You understand what I'm saying? So when your hair is kinky, you know, you feel as though your hair is not good enough. You know, you gotta go and you gotta put a texturizer in it, or perm it, or weave, or whatever, anything, so that it doesn't look kinky anymore. You understand what I'm saying? These are methods, these are tools that were put into place so that you would hate yourself, so that you would hate your brother, so that you would hate your neighbor, so that you would distrust your brother, distrust your neighbor, even your own family member. And it is continuing to keep us divided as a people. When will we see and understand? And for my young brother and my young sister, I so need to get you, or try to get you, to understand that the powers that be, when I say the powers that be, I'm talking about the people that put these things into place, these devices, these devices of distraction, of control, of hatred. When they put these things into place, it was all planned out that you would believe it so much that you would continue this on for years and years to come. He said it himself, maybe even thousands of years. So right now, today is past 300 years. How many more years will it continue to go like this before you begin to see that, hey, I'm the puppet right now. I'm the dummy right now. You understand what I'm saying? And someone might as well have their hand up your back, controlling you like a ventriloquist. Someone might as well have wires and strings hooked up to your arms and your legs, controlling you like a puppet master. Because as long as you are continuing to act like, to exemplify and show the behavior that this man, Willie Lynch, 300 years ago said you would, you might as well be someone's puppet. You might as well be someone's dummy. Okay? So, I mean, the question is clear. It's clear. Although this is not him speaking right now, these are his words. These are his words. He had this written out. A list of 6 cardinal rules that he passed out to each and every slaveholder of that time, to each and every person in that audience. He made sure that while he was teaching us to dislike ourselves and not love ourselves and hate ourselves, he made sure that he was teaching the people of that day and of that era to hate us and not trust us as well. That is why I say to you the things I say to you on my videos. It is not by chance that you are behaving the way you are behaving, but it is now by choice that you are behaving the way you are behaving, because these words are old, these words are ancient, these words are relic. It is you who continues to give these words power. I understand about scars. I know that sometimes scars can be so deep that we can pass them on to our babies unbeknownst to us. And that is what they banked on. They banked on the fact that if we embed this and we pound this into the heads of our ancestors, that they will pass it down to their babies. And to this very day, we are still continuing to pass it down to our babies. But when you listen to these words and you realize and you connect the dots and you realize that, hey, I am doing exactly what this man said I would do. That alone should make you want to stop and change your ways. And then while you listen to this and begin to see where your frame of thinking comes from, where your behavior comes from, your frame of thought comes from, I also need you to realize that, hey, listen, there are still many people to this day in power that believe and still believe in these 6 cardinal rules. There are still today people in power that refuse to let that die. They don't want to see us rise to that pinnacle in life. Okay? Although we have come so far, you must understand that there are still a lot of people that don't want to see us go further than where we have come. And for you, my young brother and my sister, what can I say to you to make you understand and to make you see that you are only destroying yourselves? Okay? If we don't stop it, if we don't stop going on the way we are going on, moving the way we are moving, we will become we will be a lost race of people. Alright? A lost race of people. So, again, I say to you, I need you to see and understand that you are now what they call a made-up man, a made-up woman, a fictional character. They created you. They invented you. With these words is how they created and invented us. Because look what we're doing. We are doing exactly what they said we would do. These people are gone. These people are dead. But you are here. And so many doors are open for you today that were not open for your ancestors. So why would you continue to give these old ancient words life? It is time to burn this letter and all letters like it. Cut the cord, break the chain, do away with that way of thinking. That is not who you are, my brother and my sister. That is not who we are. They instilled that into our ancestors because, listen, our ancestors, they had nothing. They were not allowed to have weapons. They were not even allowed to have garden tools. They were not allowed to get an education. They were not allowed to save money. They were not allowed to they didn't even get paid. But right now, today, you are allowed to do all of those things I just mentioned to you, your ancestors could not do. So, I need to get you to understand that it is you and it is us that must destroy this letter, that must destroy these words. Do not continue to give these words life. Do not continue to give these words meaning. It is time. It really is. For the sake of our babies, for the sake of our youth, for the sake of our future, for the sake of our existence, our continuation as a people. It is a must that we do away with this backwards way of thinking. Because if we do not give them the fuel, the ammo, they have nothing. We are fueling them. You are fueling them by continuing to behave in this manner. Just as this man said you would. Some 300 something years ago. He did not even know you. He did not even know us. He was talking to the people of that day and of that era. As horrible as it was. You are not there. I am not there. We must do away with this. So, with that being said, we're going to go and we're going to check out some sites. And I'm going to read some things. And, stick around. I hope you find this informative. And I hope you continue to listen. Continue to watch. I will see you on the other side.